Hi, Karen Worstell. Thanks so much for being with us here today at the Colorado Technology Association Women in Tech event.
Yeah.
Super excited to talk to you. Tell us about W Risk. That's your company, right?
Right, W Risk Group. It's a cybersecurity company. We do cybersecurity consulting in sort of the strategic space for companies, and do some product implementation with cutting edge technology that we're partners with from companies in Israel. But the main thing that we're doing right now is that we have a program for women in tech, and it's called Mojo Maker for Women in Tech, and it's really an intensive coaching and mentoring program and training program for leadership for women in tech.
Oh, that's fantastic. What do you think are the main barriers for women that are in tech? Are there things that you're particularly trying to coach through?
Yeah, there's a set of things. I think that what we hear from women the most is that they don't see anybody like them at the top. And it really is a barrier, whether you're an underrepresented minority or a woman. When the tech industry, literally, when I look at a company, I go out to their Facebook page or their web page, and I look at the leadership, and it's going to be all men. And mostly all white men most of the time, but it also has a woman in marketing and a woman in HR, and so I think that that's sending a signal that the people that are making the decisions are not like us.
Yeah.
And the statistics are showing that there are real barriers. Women are topping out in their career path. So while we have a few breakthroughs that get to the top, it is not the norm. And it's frustrating. I think women are leaving. Statistics are 50% women leave tech by the time they've been in it 12 years.
Wow.
Yeah, no, we need to change that.
Yeah.
And that's why our goal is to reverse the trend of women leaving tech in my lifetime. I should live a long time.
Yeah, that's fantastic, right? I mean, I've heard also a statistic that 70% of underrepresented candidates in computer science drop out. So if you've already got that limit, and then in the career path they're dropping out, there's a lot of drop off.
Right.
Yeah. What about, two things then, I think for women within tech that are able to make it and enjoy it and want to support the next generation, what do you tell them? And then also people that aren't women in tech but that want to help, what do you tell them?
Well, what we tell them is to join our program.
Yeah.
But I think the key is, Beth Comstock referred to it this morning in the keynote, is resilience.
Yeah.
Because the honest truth is, focus on the things that you can control, that are within your sphere of control.
Right.
Those are the things that will grow your influence. If you focus on the things that you actually have within your sphere of influence and focus your energy there, your influence grows. If we spend a lot of time focusing our energy outside of that sphere on things that we think are unjust or unfair, that's true that they are, but if we focus our energy there instead of being really excellent at what we do, and then our influence is going to shrink over time.
Yeah.
So what we really want to tell women is, number one, you can do it. It's worth staying. The next generation of women in tech depends on you being here. So let's figure that out. How do we make that an enjoyable experience for someone to really thrive in tech as a woman? Yeah.
And then I imagine that for allies, as you call them, I think, right? That how did they support those women in those choices?
Allyship, we call it be an ally, hashtag be an ally.
Yeah.
Allyship shows up in a lot of different ways. And a lot of it can be, choosing to be a mentor and a sponsor. Women in tech really do need sponsors.
Yeah.
And I qualify and define a sponsor as the person who advocates for you when you're not in the room, right? And so that's one way that can happen. And I know in my own career, I would say all but one of my career progressions happened as a result of a male sponsor.
Yeah.
So I think
I can relate.
Yeah.
Both probably equal parts, men and women that have been mentors. Really, that's cool. What about here today? Are you meeting a lot of interesting women in technology that you find here that are connected to the Colorado Technology Association?
Oh, absolutely. And I just look forward to this event so much. Last year was my first year. I'm a recent transplant to Colorado. Okay. So right away, I wanted to start getting involved in the technology scene here in Colorado, just because technology's been my life for 30 years.
Yeah.
And this was a terrific way for us to make those connections. So when I got here last year for the first time, I made friendships and connections that have really fueled everything for the rest of the year for me, personally and professionally. So yeah, this is a great place to come.
Yeah.
And it's gorgeous.
Oh, it's beautiful. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
What are you excited about in the field of technology more generally?
Oh,
there's so much going on.
Wow. Yeah. Well, so my field being cybersecurity, right? I get to kind of play everywhere. I'm very excited about what's happening in the area of data analytics and informatics and all of that IoT and digital transformation. I mean, I feel like we're on this new cusp. So I'm really 35, and all this white hair just comes from working in cybersecurity for so,
Yeah.
But in the time that I've been in tech, and I started in cybersecurity in the 1980s, there have been several inflection points that have happened along the way. So the internet got commercialized, big shift happened. Then we went to cloud computing, and that was going to create elastic computing, right? And all this shift happened. We're right there on that inflection point again.
Wow.
And I came back from an industry day with the U.S. Army for Army Installations of the Future, listening to them talk about how they want to modernize the Army and upgrade the installations and use AI and machine learning and all of that, for that. And I was like, we already have a shortage of cybersecurity people. We need a whole bunch more, because they stood up in front of the room and said, look, we're not actually talking to you about cybersecurity so much today, but all of this comes to a grinding halt without it.
Yeah, for sure.
And so what that leaves is us to very quickly try to figure out how to make that happen. Mm-hmm. And we do not have enough people. We have a shortage, a people shortage in cybersecurity of about 3 million jobs now.
Wow, like information worker, technology, I would assume, mm-hmm. data analytics, that kind of thing.
Right, people who know how to because security can't be done in a silo. It has to be done in a way that integrates. Mm-hmm. And so it's a very special set of skills. And people who architect at that level are pretty rare. They're very hard to find. And we just went, I came back from that Army installation day, and I taught, and I'm going, oh, we need more people. And the next day was an article from Korn Ferry mm-hmm. that was on the internet that said, not only do you need only 3 million people, the number has just been upgraded to 6 million more cybersecurity people.
Wow.
We can't make them fast enough.
Yeah.
So that's something that I'm pretty passionate about.
Yeah.
I want to keep let's find alternate pathways into these roles that we need to fill so quickly.
Yeah.
And there's a whole bunch of cool stuff happening there.
Yeah.
To make cybersecurity technologists faster.
Right. Without
having to go get a 4-year degree at college, which I still advocate. College is great. I did it 4 times, but there's other ways. We need more people faster. And then when we get them into the industry, regardless of gender or whatever, we need to keep them. Mm-hmm. We need to, in cyber, 57.16% of cybersecurity professionals self-identify as burned out.
Wow.
25% of chief information security officers are self-medicating, and it's a tough industry. So we need to find ways to help people, and that's what I'm really passionate about.
Right.
As you might be able to tell.
Well, having been through a big corporate hack,
mm-hmm.
where I was running communications and seeing the
right.
CIO at the time, it was not a fun place to be,
no.
right? So I can imagine high stress. So does that discourage, do you think that's a barrier for women who are, particularly as CIOs?
Yeah, I would say that there are work-life balance issues. And some of that's on us. And some of it's on job expectations.
Yeah.
But that's where the thing about knowing how to set your boundaries, knowing how to do your own self-care, knowing what resilience looks like, all of those skills, those are things we all need as life skills in general. I think because women often have multiple responsibilities, not just their job. When I had kids, when I went through, I was Chief Information Security Officer at Microsoft for a little while. I had kids.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you have to figure it out.
We all need it, right?
Yeah.
Amen.
Yes.
Balance.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. It was great speaking with you.
My pleasure. Thank you.